About form and formless, that is the Sarguna and the Nirguna, again the differences are created by those people who do not have very deep understanding. Or out of the 6 philosophies, they are following one, and they are not having an unbiased view about the other 5 schools of philosophy. And that's a human nature. What I believe in is best. So all the logics and arguments will be created because of the ego of the person. In Bharat, we gave this freedom, we accepted this diversity. And our sages permitted, acknowledged, that if you wish to, say, worship Shiva, fine. If you don't want to worship Shiva and you wish to see Shiva as a formless one, fine. We won't pass on any injunction onto you, or penalize you, or punish you. Same goes for Vishnu. So you wish to see the Shankh Chakra Gadapadam Vaijanti Mala wearing God as your God, fine. And if you wish to see the one omniscient existence as Vishnu, accepted. So there are these 6 schools of thought. So they have their variations. Like even in yoga, there is a section which believes in Ishvara, and then there is one which is Nirishwarvadi, means doesn't believe in existence of Ishvara, but it says that the jiva, the individual self, is one, and the nature, the prakriti, is the another entity. That's it. So when you, with the practices of the 8 limbs of yoga, you can arise and rise in such a way that you yourself will become Ishvara. So although they are saying there is no Ishvara, and yet they are saying you can be one Ishvara. But there is a section of yoga which says no, the existence of Ishvara is accepted. Bharat gives all the freedom. So Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, Saur, old days, the sun was worshipped as a god. And like there was this one of the most largest temple of sun. One is there in Gujarat, Modhera. And there's another one which was the loftiest temple in Kashmir, which Lalita Aditya, the last Hindu king of Kashmir, it is said that he got that constructed, and which was of course plundered very badly. And it is a temple of sun. So those are called in Sanskrit Saurya. Those who worship Ganapati are called Ganapatya. Those who worship Devi are called Shakta. Those who worship Shiva are called Shaiva. Those who worship Vishnu are called Vaishnava. So all these sects have these differences of, like say, what ritual or what offerings you will give or what mantra you will do to appease. But for the person who is now ready, for them the Upanishads come in. And you will be surprised in Upanishad there is no talk or mention about Vishnu or Shiva or Surya or Indra or Devi or Ganapati or anybody. But then the Upanishads were meant for sannyasis, meaning the 4 ashramas. So for the celibate, the brahmachari, the student life, they had a section of a Veda which is called the Brahmanas. That was for them. And then you have a section for those who are married. All the rules and what to do, what not to do are there. Then there are Aranyakas, that is for the Vanprastha. And then there are Upanishad, which was meant for sannyasis only. So there was this beautiful division of human life into 4 sections. So as you are in whatever age and stage, the rishis gave us, the shastras, the scriptures gave us the guidelines, gave us what to do, when to do, how to do, and everything. And the Vedanta is the utmost and the highest knowledge of all. So once somebody has gone into this arena of Vedanta, there are no differences of opinions or ideologies, because over there is going to be what in Hindi I would call samanvaya. The samanvaya is there. So Bhagavad Gita is a classic example where Krishna is talking about his form and the formless existence. And that's the beauty. You can choose to be an antagonist, you can choose to be an atheist, and you are permitted. And you will be still called as Sanatani. You are not a believer, and yet you will not be scorned or punished or ostracized or kicked out or some punishment is given. No, that's okay. You wish to see either of the form as your chosen deity, as your chosen God, is permitted. I'll give you one small, beautiful example, story from Purana. It is said one time Parvati wanted to celebrate birthday of Ganesha. So she invited all the devatas, the demigods. And Vishnu said, I am not going today. So he sent his 2 devotees, those who were like the guards on the gate. And he said, today you go and attend Parvati's function. So, okay, they go to Kailasha. And there was this all fun and celebrations and dance and music and everything is on. Now Ma Parvati is also Annapurna. So she says nobody will go without eating. So everybody goes towards eating food. But these 2 Vaishnavas, they say, they are standing on the corner and they say, okay, Ma, we take your leave, we have to go. So why? How can you go without eating? They said, we are Vishnu Bhakt. So without seeing face of our Lord, we don't eat. And our Lord is not here. So how can we eat? So kindly permit us that we may take leave of you. Parvati says, okay, but before going, why don't you go inside the room and greet Ganesha in person, and then you may go. So they both go in, and the Puranic story says, and they were expecting a child in a cradle. But when they go closer to the cradle, there is Vishnu in that cradle. There is Vishnu in the cradle. And they do the worship and they are very surprised that how come Vishnu is there and where is Ganesha? So the message is Ganesha and Vishnu are not 2. So don't create this division. And then Ma Parvati comes in and she says, now, are you ready to eat? No. Yeah, sure. Now I am ready to eat. Because we have done our prayers and our custom of seeing our master's face first, Vishnu Bhagwan's darshan first, and then we offer the food to him, and only then we partake the prasadam. So the Puranas are kind of giving these kind of messages and stories where it's like interwoven. So like there are Puranic stories where Shiva is worshipping Vishnu. And there is a story where Vishnu is worshipping Shiva. Like Sri Ram would say that Shiva is my Guru, my God. And Shiva is saying, Ram is my Guru and God. And Sati, meaning when Parvati was Sati, in her this birth, she was very confused. Who is Guru of whom? Who is the worshipper? And who is the deity? So there are these beautiful stories where the the confluence of forms into the formless are being created. But then in last, I would say, 300-400 years, some new sects have cropped up. I wish not to take their names. You have taken it, so I am not going to repeat that. Right? That's what happened to Vishnu, that one time the Rishi goes in and Vishnu is in his Yog Nidra and Devi Lakshmi is by his lotus feet. And he doesn't greet the Rishi. Rishi gets very angry and he kicks onto the chest of Vishnu. And Vishnu says, "Oh, my chest is pretty hard. I hope I haven't hurt your beautiful, soft, smooth feet, O Rishi." But Lakshmi ji got very angry and she said, "I curse you. You will always be bereft of me. So no Brahmin ever will be very rich. Brahmin will be always looking for dakshina and dana from people." That's the curse which says has come from Lakshmi to this Rishi. And Vishnu, no statue of Vishnu is made without those signs of the Rishi Charan on his chest. Meaning, he is kicking Vishnu, and Vishnu says, "I am incomplete without the mark on my chest." So in Vaishnava Dharma, whenever a Vishnu statue is made, that mark of that Rishi's footprints are always created. So who is going to send hell to whom? We don't have this concept. So I think so what you need to go is into depth study of Bhagavad Gita. Or you take any of my Vedantic, like there is a series of scriptures which I have explained, from Drigdrishya Vivek to Prashnopanishad to Kenopanishad to Atma Bodh and to so many. The list is there. And the best part would be, going into the complete Bhagavad Gita and understanding the core. Don't go into so and so Swami said that and so Guruji said that, and then the gurus come and go. But the Vedic knowledge is eternal. I always say this. When anybody says, "I am a guru, now listen to me, whatever I say," we say, "Okay, what is the basis of whatever you are speaking?" So if your base is Vedas, we are ready to agree to that and accept you. But if you say, "No, I have created some new knowledge," we won't accept it. Unfortunately, people these days don't do any scriptural studies. They don't have time. Where is time? School, college, university, marriage, job, there is no time. And it's not even a priority. But I make a point that I am bringing on this Vedic knowledge in front of people, making it easy to understand, giving the color of my commentaries which are scientific, meaning bringing into the science into it, because there's a wonderful quantum physics to explain. There is a wonderful geography and zoology involved. There is wonderful physics laws are there, which I use as an analogy or as an example. Because once you have a thorough knowledge about, say, Bhagavad Gita or any Upanishad, there is no room left for confusion. And again, I'll repeat, enlightenment is not our word. We don't use that. We have a word which can be like sthita pragya, meaning established in that pure knowledge. We have word self-realization. We have word atmanishta. We have word brahmanabhuti or brahmanishta. But we don't have word the enlightenment. It comes more closer to the Buddhist theology. But sometimes the Western writers and the speakers are using these words, and this becomes like a big thing. I always end up saying this. One time I was in Denmark, So the person who had visited me here, he invited me to come to their ashram. So I was very intrigued to go and see this ashram in Denmark. And I go there, and there were some like 50 men and women. And they all were speaking this one word. Oh, so enlightened. And I am so enlightened. And you are enlightened. And we are all enlightened. They had this word. And they had actually made some very beautiful pictures and artwork and portraits where they depict that somebody who, it's like a wave getting connected from the brain to the heavens, and from the heavens the light is falling onto the head of the person, and from head to the heart, and from heart to all the Muladhara chakras and other chakras, and the chakras open up, and my all chakras are wakened up, and I am enlightened. And I was like, oh wow, that was quite an experience, and we had quite a laugh over there because there was nobody who was unenlightened, and everybody was enlightened over there. So somehow there's a misusage of this word, big time, big time. We say realization of who I am and realization of what God is. And the Sanatana Dharma is the only one Dharma which gives you this freedom, which gives you this choice to question who is God, what is God, and who defines and who opens up this whole path for you to think, to challenge, to question, to doubt, and especially like the beautiful Upanishad called Prashna Upanishad. Prashna Upanishad is a conversation of 6 disciples with the Guru. So they come up with their questions. And the story says when they go to the Guru says, you'll have to be with me for 1 year. And after 1 year, I permit you to ask the question. And maybe if I know the answer, I'll answer. He's not giving any guarantee that he will. So they stay there for 1 year. Because Guru wanted to check what kind of lifestyle they have. Are they meditators, or they are just goofing around? Are they rajasic or quiet, silent, disciplined people? So after 1 year, Guru said, okay, now ask. So one by one, all these 6 aspirants are asking questions. Guru is answering beautifully. And this is Prashna Upanishad. So all our Upanishads, beginning from Kathopanishad to Kena Upanishad, it's all dialogue which is happening in between two, the Guru and the seeker. So this conversation, this dialogue opens up the mind, the brain, the understanding of the person, and then Guru provides the tools and the methodology for the aspirant to prepare himself or herself to be eligible to understand what Guru is going to say. Because, like, if you haven't done your B.Tech, you cannot do M.Tech. If you haven't done M.Tech, you cannot do PhD. And you haven't even done if the 8th standard, then forget about doing B.Tech. So there's a system. So Bharat gave this system of knowledge. And in this system of knowledge, there is a place for God, Sargun, with the form, God, which is formless. And it's not like imagination or assumptions or, Alice in the Wonderland type of the thing. It's not like that. It's like something which is very relatable. And whether it is Kabir Sahib or Guru Nanak or Dadu Sahib, all these great gurus of the Sant Parampara are Nirguni Sant, meaning formless. But yet Guru Nanak is talking about life and incidents of Sri Krishna and Sri Rama. There is a beautiful text called Sukhmani Sahib of Sikhism. And in Sukhmani, the 5th Guru, Arjan Dev, it says, Sargun aap nirgun bhi ohi kala tar jin sagli mohi. The one who is Sargun is the Nirgun. And this is like the divine game, the divine Leela which is being done. And so you have to rise above these limitations. Because mind is limited, brain is limited, hence we have these limited ideas even about God. It's like imagination. God might be this, God might be that. So all those, when they say, I believe in a formless God, the question is, if the God is formless, then how do you know this God is God? Are you getting what I'm saying? When you say air, then there is a chemical formula about which you use, and then you understand then what it is. So when you say God is formless, then how in the first time you came to know about such existence which is formless, and you came to know about that? Because through our senses we know about the world through the very limited windows of, like through eyes you can see color alone. With ears you just can hear sound alone. Through nose you can just smell. Through tongue you can only taste. With the skin you can only touch. And you have the only 5 senses of knowledge. You don't have a 6th one. So when someone says God is formless, so then you have to agree that there is no word which can sufficiently explain God. Because even the word God is not God. And if you say the word God is God, then you have made God a word. And word is part of the elemental word. The sound is part of the elemental word, which is heard by your ears. And if somebody is deaf and cannot hear the sound, cannot hear the word, God. So who is your God? Let me say, Sanatana Dharma is not religion of faith. It is a religion of introspection, knowledge, knowing, direct encounter. It's not about believing. It's about exploring. Those who say believe or you will go to hell, know this, they have nothing to do with Sanatana Dharma. And Sanatana word means the eternal. Truth is that, eternal. Truth doesn't change, but everything else does. So going into the depth of the fundamentals of what truth is, or should I say what you are. So this kind of listening, this kind of scriptural listening to the discourses lead one to the point where God doesn't remain something in which you believe in. Then ultimately you come to a point where God is your experience. Nothing to do with belief. And belief is happening in the limited boundaries of the mind. And the scripture says that God is beyond the understanding of the mind. And then how will we understand God? Strange. So the scripture gives the answer. And very systematically. Very methodologically. So I'll suggest, taking up Bhagavad Gita and go into it, and please, at least what I have already spoken about, use those scriptures to elevate your understanding. In last, I would say, you have a male body and you are in the body. Body has a form and you don't have. And even in between you and the body, there is mind. And mind again is formless. There is no form. There is no picture of. Can you take selfie of your mind? No, we cannot. So our thoughts, our emotions in the mind, our determinations and our resolves in the intellect, it's all formless. And the core of the Bhagavad Gita's message is that you are the formless, yourself. And yet you have a body. But this body isn't going to define you. But yet you use this body to live in this world. Use the 5 senses, use the mind, use the intellect, use the subconscious, use the ego, When you say, oh yes, I have understood this. You're nodding this, yes and yes. This is the ego which is saying, yes, I have understood it. Ego over here in context to the mind is not the ego which you generally use. Over here, ahamkara. Ahamkara means that I have extended my knowing. Aham means me. Akara means giving shape. So when you give shape to your understandings, hence you say, I have understood this. So this is ahankara. It's not the ego. It's not the ego one. It's different. So the mind, the ego, the intellect, and the subconscious. These are the four faculties which you have. And four of them are formless. So are your senses formless. What you touch is the eyelid. It's not eye. The eyesight is the power with which you are seeing through this. So we call that as the sense organ of seeing. And so goes for hearing, and so goes for smelling, and so goes for the tasting, so goes for your hands and feet. These are the senses of action. So the meticulous detail about who you are, first you need to address that. And there is one book of mine, it's called Atma Bodh. Who am I? Maybe go with that first. Once you have done that, then go for Bhagavad Gita. And yes, side by side, you need to, what I was mentioning that day about the sadhana of doing the Nishkriya Dhyana or doing pranava, simultaneous, these exercises, these internalization methods to make your mind calm and quiet and serene and gives you the eligibility to understand all this stuff which is going to be really challenging, really, really challenging. So, a mind which is not agitated is eligible for understanding this Vedantic knowledge. And like this body is there, but I am formless. Like Guruji gave a beautiful discourse for good 2 hours. And the disciple just walked away. And Guru had to yell, come beta, prepare some food for me, I'm hungry. He said, Guruji, Shivoham. Manobuddhya ahankara chittani naham. You said that you are not body, you are not mind, you are not senses. So who is hungry? Guru said, yeah, sure. Now you have become Jnani in one day. Eh? Guru said, okay, just before leaving, you should do the pranam. Come and do the pranam and then you may go. So he comes to do his pranam and he bows and puts his head down onto the ground. And then Guru gave some powerful prasad, at his back, gave a thumping punch. And he started yelling and crying and he said, what is this? Why are you beating me up? I am in so much pain. Guru said, pain? You are not a body. Manobuddhya ahankara chittani naham. You are not a body. Where is the pain? If there is a pain, then show me the pain. He said, how can I show you the pain? It's not physical. It's not gross. So Guru said, okay, my dear, so is my hunger, not gross. Yeah? So it was your job that you should take care of my body so that it is well fed, rested, healthy, so that tomorrow again I can sit and yap to you, speak to you and answer all your questions. You just can't walk away by saying, okay, Shivoham, what about food and seva and why should I do it? That's not how the things are. So in ancient days, any seeker who would go to a Mahatma to seek higher knowledge, the Guru would put a lot of testing first. So for years they are serving the master, they're brooming, cooking, fetching water, and doing whatever the Guru says. doing all kinds of seva, menial jobs, nothing is big or small, and doing the pranayams and yoga and preparing their mind and body while serving the master, so that one day the Guru is kind enough to give that understanding and intelligence to the seeker. So we are formless and yet we have body. So you can't say that form and the formless are like antagonists to one another. No, they are not diametrically opposite to one another. Very nicely, you are in this body. And one day this body was not there, and one day this body will be again gone. But you will be still here very much. But because of the incomplete journey, a new life, a new body will be given. And then again you have, I was just reading one of email which I received from England. This lady says that her 5-year-old son started talking about a woman who died at age of 104, and he was saying that she was my friend and I miss her. What are you saying? He said, no, she was my friend, 104 years old, and I miss her. He said, but people don't live for that long. And he said, no, people live for 110 also. And then there were some news about Eastern Europe. And then he said, I just walked into the room and I heard the voice about, taking that name of the particular city. And he says, this city was not like this. It was much beautiful than what it is now. So how do you know? He said, I know it. So how? I know it. So she wrote to me, what's that? He's talking about strange things, and he's asking me that, Granny, everybody dies. Nobody lives for long. And Grandpa has taken very good care of his body, but even he will die. And everybody dies. And you will also die. It's a 5-year-old boy speaking this. And she said that I'm so bamboozled. I'm so shocked. Such things he's uttering that I'm amazed and dazed. What's that? Well, for you, he's a 5-year-old boy. But the mind is not 5 years old. Mind is very ancient. Mind is very, very ancient. And this is not the first time that he got a body or a life. Hundreds and thousands of bodies have happened. So sometimes the mind carries on those memories, and they are so clear and so clear that that is like a reality for that particular individual. Like I had this 6-year-old girl. I asked her, what do you want to be when you grow up? She said, I'll become a Swami. Huh? He said, yes. He said, not a doctor, not a lawyer. She said, just a waste of time. What will you be? She says, I'll be a sannyasi. And she fought with me that why don't I have a school over here so that she can get education here and she doesn't have to go back with her parents. And she says this to her parents also, I won't be with you for long. I am going off to Guru. She's just 6 years old. So, bodies are new, mind is not, mind is ancient. Mind is very, very ancient. And you, my dear, are eternal. You are Satchitananda. That's what your real existence is. Seeing oneself as body is not the true. This is like a superimposition which we have done because of ignorance. So we don't realize who we are and we see this body as me. And out of sheer stupidity, people have created this kind of divisions in God also, form and formless. So if you worship a form, you will go to hell. If you worship a formless, you will go into hell. And then say, how can you worship a formless? But formless is the reality. And some says, no, it's the form which is the reality. And they are having this debate and fight amongst themselves. It's just because of lack of true knowledge. That's it. And these new religions which happened in last 2000 years, the beauty of some of these great individuals actually never got the real, I would say, representation what we have now. But in case of the Upanishad, there is no twisting of facts. And we have these beautiful Upanishads, word by word, verbatim, the way it was thousands of years ago. We still have that. And it's a continuity which is going on. And it's not a hearsay written after like 40, 50, 80 years after that great person is gone or not physically available. It's not like that. Dhamma Sutra of Buddha got written much after Buddha's demise. So the continuity is broken, and well, as long as anything which is said on the basis of fundamentals of Vedanta, I love and respect. But Vedanta, the Uttar Mimamsa, the 6 schools of thought, of philosophy of Bharat, doesn't say his belief. Not even once. Yes. For the benefit of the people, I just recently gave a commentary on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. I got to know about that somebody in North America is selling a course on Patanjali Yoga Sutra and he's charging some $10,000. I said, whoa. Too much money. Well, Americans have a lot of money, but still 10,000. I said, well, so I although spoke in Hindi, but then I got this, all the discourses translated into English and made it available on Amazon. So that those who wish to know about what is mind, what is yoga, what are the 8 steps of the yoga? What is consciousness? What is subconscious? What is the macro consciousness? What is Satchitananda? What is Ishvara? Who is the Jiva? Who made the world? How did that happen? And who am I? So all these details, but exclusively about the mind and the intellect and the diseases of the mind and what to do to remove these diseases of the mind. What should a person do to reach the highest state of samadhi, the full absorption and the full absorption of the consciousness? And what is the awakening? And what is samadhi? How many types of samadhis are there? What are the obstructions in the yoga? What are the ways and means to remove those obstacles? This whole detail comes in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So I have made it available in Hindi and in English. And there is my videos which are in Hindi language. I get to meet some students who were doing MA philosophy. And those were the days when my Patanjali Yoga Sutra was being aired on a satellite channel. And these students met me and they said, we couldn't understand all about this Patanjali, but then we got to see your program and we heard it. And that's how we got our gold medals in our exams. And it's thank you to you. Is it the way the teachers were teaching, we were not getting anything. And it's only through the lectures which were on the YouTube and also on the satellite channel. So we have benefited a lot being a student. So it's not about just getting a degree, but Patanjali Yoga Sutra is a scientific paper on understanding what mind, what consciousness, what intellect, what is the methodology where you can rise above being just a body to realization that you are Satchitanand. And it's a perfect sutras for anybody who wishes to walk the path of yoga especially. And yoga and path of bhakti, these two are like, I would say, accessories which prepare anybody's mind who wishes to rise finally to come into the field of Vedanta. That is the highest knowledge. So I have given you a lot of homework now. Right? And so please do use this. These books, these commentaries, these videos are there. And simultaneously doing the practices, like doing the breathing winds. That's a Nadi Shodhan Pranayam. It's a beautiful music. One of the sannyasi is a very good flautist and music composer. So he composed a special track where there is this subtle music with my instructions coming in. So it helps you to sit. Music kind of creates a wall and cuts you away from the external noises and disturbances. So using like breathing winds or using like a track called Pranav in which the Om chant is being used, or using any other guided meditations. Meaning I'm not teaching meditations, but what I am teaching will definitely lead you to that point where the meditation will happen. Meditation can't be taught. This is the biggest misconception. No, it cannot be taught. I cannot teach anybody to be Einstein. It's 10, 20, 30 years of exploration in the science world to become an Einstein. Similarly, the meditation can't be taught. But the ways and means and the preparations where you finally reach to that point where the meditation happens, it's like a bloom which happens. You just have to prepare the soil, the watering, the sunlight to the seed and to the sapling growing up and to the plant and then to the buds. And then finally the buds are blooming. That blooming is called meditation. Can't be taught, can't be rehearsed, can't be created. But still the ways are to lead you to that point. So step by step, step by step. And I think so, that's my love for all the humanity. Where I'm not asking you to pay something first or take my course first or give me some fees first and then I'll teach. I've just made it available. Go to the app Amrit Varsha and get it. But there are some things which are made available onto the YouTube. We don't even have to go to the app. So just go to the YouTube, type in and there you go. You have the thing. And then wherever you might be in Antarctica or Timbuktu, Beijing or Bangalore, Christchurch or Chicago, doesn't make any difference. That gives you, this is what I call the scientific way of treading this path of spirituality, Adhyatma. This is the way. Open for exploration, open for your inspection, open for experimentation, open for your direct experience.